Why do you think some comedians become famous and thousands disappear? For instance, Jerry Seinfeld, he didn't make it basically as a comedian, he made it with his television show. Louis C.K. struggled, most people don't realize, for about 25 years until he got hardly recognized. Why?
I think it depends on public, it's a few factors. One is public resonance, the zeitgeist that's happening. The other is opportunity. Opportunity doesn't necessarily, opportunity is really kind of like, it's based off of a few synchronistic events. One is like having something that's developed enough that it's ready to go, so that when an opportunity presents itself, it can then just occupy that space, it can just move into that lane. And sometimes, and most people that you hear about that are doing really well have been working for years. And that's kind of that's common, especially in comedy. Comedians really get good in their 30s, and then they get even better in their 40s if they're still doing it. So it's kind of this art form that you get better the older you get. George Carlin was still killing it before he disappeared, and I think you'll find that many people have this long road. Some people get picked up right away and then they disappear, which is kind of the opposite effect. It's like they're perfect for the moment, which in my opinion, I think he's a lovely person, but like Judd Apatow, for instance, I think he had his moment. Like whatever that was that he saw, Freaks and Geeks separate, because that's kind of like the perfection. I think that's one of his perfect things that he ever did. But then he had a few movies that he was behind in some form or another that really resonated. And then now when I see his new movies, I'm like, it doesn't hit me the same way. And maybe I've moved out of that resonance, maybe it's hitting it for other people. But it has to do with being able to adapt to what's happening in the moment and to be able to comment on it. Some people just kind of have only so much to say to a certain degree, and then other things kind of come up to challenge the conversation.